Alright, we are live once more with some more Abomination Vaults. I don't know if we're ready to start. We're running late. Things happen. Shorter session tonight. Are we all here?
I'm back.
I'm here.
Okay. We'll go around the table, introduce ourselves. I'm Stray, the DM, once more. Running Abomination Vaults. I've gotten plenty of experience DMing. I'm very tired. You want to introduce yourself, Como?
Yeah, sure. I'm Como. I play Gideon, the human fighter. Basic bitch boy. I'm also very tired. We're
Rally.
here.
You're up.
Rally, if I'm playing Cezanne, the human cleric. I feel like I'm a little less tired than these two, but still a bit.
Yuri.
I'm playing Wesk, the kobold gunslinger. We're all tired today.
It's been
Looking
a hell
forward.
of a Father's Day, guys.
Looking forward to critting some more monsters and making Stray's life hell.
You can't do anything I've not done to myself, but I believe Zilly is coming back, but Zilly is playing Ziri, the Fawn Witch, from which is filling the role of the party wizard this time, so. But, let's go ahead and move over to Otari here, and I will go ahead and activate this, move you each all over here as we go ahead and cut some of that music. And we will just play some nice, gentle music.
Don't have a loading bar. I can't tell if the game is actually trying to load me in or not.
Move to just Otari then, if you need
I'm
to.
in Otari. Oh, there we go. We're at 1%.
Nice.
We'll see y'all next year.
Not preloading Atari, like ever. Can't believe it.
Weak.
I tried to preload Otari. It gave me an error message about assets not being loaded in yet.
Can't preload Otari because you gotta preload Otari.
Yeah, man.
Oh god, I had to preload Atari before I preload Atari. Okay, I'm gonna try leaving and coming back.
Okay. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and kick this off with who wants to remind everybody of what we were up to last time.
Last time, we decided to return to the Gauntlet to head up into the Gauntlet at night when the weird blue light was going off, and as soon as we entered that tower, the bloodstain erupted into a shade of Belcora, which we wounded and chased it up into the lighthouse, killing it there. Thinking that we had done a good deed, we were suddenly caught off guard when the light shone over the Dawnflower graveyard and started resurrecting the dead. We ran back to Otari, up to the graveyard, dealt with the undead there, quickly rappelled down the side of the cliff into Otari proper, where we met up with the mayor, who was trying to save a child, dealt with a weird bug-like creature, or should I say, Tobias dealt with the weird bug-like creature because Stray decided to make him an Elendil. We then moved further into the town where we encountered a large skeleton giant that Ren was dealing with and took that down as well. And with that, we leveled up and called the session there.
Okay.
Oh, Raver also showed up and had his big damn hero moment.
Yes, the good doctor showed up. Landing yet another crit to finish off the beastie. So, as usual, my NPCs steal the show. Alright, let's go ahead and resume there as you each stand over two very large corpses in the, but why? Why is it rattling chains now? Why are you like that? But why are you like this? Oh, it's sequential playback, that's why. Nice. No, you need to just be a soundboard. There we go. As you stand in the Otari market, watching a few civilians dart around, both in a panic and also trying to stabilize what remains of the market, putting out fires, checking on their loved ones, a few children crying in the corner, trying to sniffle up the last of their tears. Raver disappears out of sight over the roof that he had climbed up on, whereas Ren and Tavius make their way to you as a group. Ren is the first to speak up. Her usual garb is a bit worse for wear. You've not seen her dirty in some time, even though she is a sort of adventurous type. She's going to dart to you, Cezanne. First. My friend, it is good to see that you are alive and not the undead. I have many encounters with the undead today.
Yeah, was that the last of them?
I believe so, and she's going to kind of glance around between each of you, noticing that most of you are not actually that beat up, but Cezanne, having been gored by the large minotaur-like creature, is wounded. And she's going to grab your hands, Cezanne. May I?
Why can't I see his HP
Sure.
bar again?
Why can't you?
I don't know. I can't see Wesk's either.
Weird.
But I can see everyone else's.
May you, what?
May I tend to your wounds? Try hovering over
Sure,
them.
Sure.
Come on.
Oh, I did. I can see him when I open up the character. I just can't see the bar.
That's weird.
I can see Ziri's, but no one else's.
Same.
Regardless, she is going to heal you for 14 points of damage as she casts a healing spell on you with a range of touch, channeling a nice warm feeling up through your hands into your body as the pain leaves but the wounds remain.
Thank you. That's a lot better.
It is my pleasure.
So what exactly happened down here? We saw a bit of it, but
Actually, it's supposed to be 38, so there we go.
Let's see.
Tobias steps up. I believe I can answer that. When you lot disappeared into the gauntlet, or I assume as such anyway, there was a flash of light, and that beam swept across the town. Wherever the beam touched, it seemed to create monsters. At first, it was in the graveyard. I thought maybe, well, it was just resurrecting the dead. But then it swept over here to the marketplace, and as far as I know, we've not got a graveyard underneath the town. He stomps his foot once or twice for effect. However, these creatures materialized in it, so whatever that beam is, seems to not be good. I'm not entirely positive exactly what it is, but it seems to create monsters wherever it goes.
Looks like Belcora still had a few more tricks up her sleeve.
I mean, the witch,
Very same.
she's been dead for like 500 years. I don't know how many more traps an old crone like her could have left. You sure you
Funny
didn't just
story.
activate something up there?
Oh, we didn't touch anything, but we definitely dealt with a bloodstained spirit of Belcora.
We ran into a shade of her malice.
Oh,
and
that must be the one that was going to eat Gideon.
She didn't do a very good job.
Oh, well then I am happy that she did not eat you. Perhaps
Me
it is
too.
not
She
the
didn't do a-
same shade.
She didn't do a good job, but your prediction did come true. How's your blood doing, Gideon?
Better than yesterday, actually.
That is delightful.
Yeah, I'll take blood over shadow any day, I guess.
Still, though, the shade did something to the light at the top, and that's when it started blasting this way.
The shade mentioned something about its master.
Tavius shrugs. Rin looks worried and thoughtful. This entire time, she's also just not let go of your hands, Cezanne.
Rin?
Yes?
I think the feeling's good here.
Thank you.
Gonna keep holding on?
I'll let the girl hold on a little longer.
I do not understand.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Where's
I
the
will not.
mayor? He said he was gonna go. He
It
was
is about
bringing
that
something.
time that one Joseph Minhams emerges from around the Crook's Nook, carrying a large platinum longsword with a sizable sapphire embedded in the hilt. He is also now poorly decked out, as you can tell, Gideon, in a suit of half-plate armor. The stern-looking man clutching the longsword tightly in a leathered glove, now ready for combat. Is everyone all right?
It
I
was
must say, this is far quieter than I expected.
no time to waste when they're attacking your town.
Yes, I ran to help.
Is the girl you were protecting all right?
Yes, I made sure of that. I did what I could, but, well, I am powerless without my artifacts.
Fair enough.
Well, you missed the party.
Is that the sword?
The sword? Well, yes, this is the Sun Sword. Legendary artifact of the Rose Guard hero.
Westgold look back over to Tobias, who's leaving, muttering under his breath, thankful that another fight didn't erupt once the mayor returned with the Sun Sword. Well, it seems that for the most part, things have been dealt with here. I think, as the mayor, you need to oversee the, I can't think of the word for it.
The reconstruction efforts.
Aftermath.
Yeah. Well, reconstruction later. For now, just making sure everything's all right and the people are.
Yes. I will see what our clerics and priests can do to determine what caused this undead attack. And do what we can to make sure it doesn't happen again. I'm very worried, though. The Sun Sword has always protected us. It's the town's charm, after all.
As it's supposed to protect you if you leave it locked up in a box.
Its divine aura is supposed to... Well, I don't know exactly how it works, but the priests assure me that they take care of it there.
Look over at Zan. You buying any of this?
I've never heard of a sun sword before.
I've never heard of a sword that, you know, protects people in any other way other than poking them with the pointy end.
You could give me a knowledge check of your choice if you want to, Cezanne, if you want to take a moment.
Yeah, just gonna think to the idea of relics that might have some kind of effect there. Oh,
Turns out you're good at this.
I have a plus 11.
Yeah, and you rolled a 19.
Which is
That's a legendary
more
check.
than enough. Yes, you know about the Sun Sword. It is the legendary weapon used by one of the oldest ancient heroes, said to be the Sword of Darkness's Bane. It is an immensely powerful weapon. One of the only things that even the strongest creatures of the night, such as vampire lords, and even fiends and demons of the deepest pits of Baelor and the Abyss, fear. It is a weapon made of a shard of the sun. It is said that you can't even wield it unless you are righteous and holy at heart, that it would scorch and burn your hand to cinders in an instant. Even being near it is said to invigorate life forces, and the list goes on and on, Cezanne. It is a tremendously big deal, but it was also lost to time a long time ago. So the fact that this mayor has it in the middle of Otari, in the middle of literally nowhere, is kind of astounding to you. But it is also worrisome that evil creatures should even be allowed remotely near its location if it's working as intended.
He is right, though. If that being the Sun Sword, I wouldn't think such creatures would be able to even approach.
Yes, we've had a long-standing peace, despite being in the middle of the fog fin and away from any sort of protections or wards. The Sun Sword has kept us safe for decades now. Perhaps it is tired, Ren adds in the awkward silence.
You know what? I think we're all tired. What time is it?
It is approximately, let's say about 7:45, 8 o'clock.
Running back from the gauntlet sure didn't help.
Actually, yes. After adding the time it would take you to run between the gauntlet and back, it's probably closer to 9. But you also have taken a long rest and woke up around 6 p.m.
Yeah.
So
We haven't been out that long.
you might be exhausted, but you are not tired.
Yep.
Right.
Mhm.
I don't think artifacts grow tired, Ren. Why not?
While they're talking, Wesk is gonna move over to Cezanne and whisper into his ear.
Ziri, what are you and Gax doing as this conversation is happening?
Can I roll a check to see if I know anything about what they're talking about with the Sun Sword?
Sure. Take your pick. I'll give you something different based on what you give me. What you whispering, Wesk?
I whispered it to him with
Okay.
our text.
Ziri, while you do not know the specifics about that sword, it is pulsing with a magic that you can almost feel, like a light humming vibration near you. If you close your eyes and kind of focus in on the magic. Other than that, though, you couldn't tell you anything specific about it.
Safe to assume that I could get that idea as well with the 30, or...
Yes. The casters in the party can feel,
Yeah.
if you close your senses off and kind of feel it out, much like detecting magic, you could, you get the feeling it's magical. Well, I'm, Joseph Minhams begins to carefully put the sword back in its sheath. I suppose I'll, go see what can be done. He sort of adjusts a strap and a buckle on his half plate and shuffles
Wait. Are you gonna
away.
keep wearing that?
Yes.
Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna run over and start fussing with it, make sure it's strapped appropriately.
The priest said that they would help me. What are you doing?
Yeah, they did it wrong. Hold on.
Okay. You spend the
We
next.
still know a lot about warfare.
You spend about the next 60 seconds making sure it is properly fitting. You get the feeling that this is not custom-made half plate for the mayor.
Not that I need to get there and get in on to know that.
But you do manage to rig it up so that it is sitting more comfortably on him, and he kind of dusts himself off and gets a feel for how it fits. And yes, I'd say that is better. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We should talk later then.
Yes, I think you have a lot to do at the moment, and I think we do too.
Joseph begins to dart away to address the citizens of the town now, losing that sense of out-of-placeness, that sort of loss of confidence. He seems much better at this part of the job as he begins to rally and organize people around him. Before long, he's disappeared into a crowd of workers as they begin to now coordinate their efforts into actively putting out the worst of the situation. Before long,
Oh.
the fires are extinguished.
Wesk sighs and pinches the bridge of his snout. The warriors are bureaucrats, and the people that can actually protect this town are exiles. Oh, Lord.
Are you in exile, Wesk? I did not know that. I'm sorry.
In a manner of speaking, but
You may stay at my tent if you wish.
thanks. I have a room, and I do prefer a roof over my head. No offense.
Well, that is disappointing. The roof over the head thing, not you.
That's what I assumed.
She is finally going to let go of you, Cezanne.
I'd like to
As
point out
she-
it's been like 5 minutes since then.
I'm aware.
Your hands are nice and warm now in the cold night air.
Does this town have an orphanage?
An orphanage? I'm not entirely sure. I don't believe so. Why?
Because after tonight, there's going to be at least a few orphans. Sorry to say.
Oh, we will do what we can to treat the wounded. Do not worry. I'm quite well at handling wounds. As you saw with Cezanne, she says, holding up his hands now.
He's
Yeah.
still got wounds.
I will hope for the best.
Well, then, Ziri, she is now going to grab one of your hands, Ziri.
Yes.
Then you can help treat wounds. You are still a doctor, yes?
I am.
That is delightful. Do you wish to doctor wounds?
I'm gonna uncertainly look between everybody.
Nobody in your party is wounded.
You're
It's probably
Best
best to
one
look
at
up
it
the
here.
internet.
Okay.
That is delightful. I always admire how willing you are to help other people out, Ziri.
I'm gonna press my lips together and nod.
Don't mind the pocket necromantic gem. Completely necessary, I promise.
Is that a wand of animate dead in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? Regardless. And that, Ren is going to take you by the hand, Ziri, and you, Cezanne, and she's going to pull you away as she's going to basically walk around blindly calling out, wounded over here, please, and generally get in Joseph's way for the next 10 minutes.
Well, she does that. Weska's gonna look to Gideon. We even go after her.
I mean, I could probably help treat some of the wounded, but I'd rather not leave you alone. Somebody might just kill you. Although,
Like to see them
I
try.
think exactly. I'm more concerned for them in that scenario. You almost clean blew the head off of a water drake earlier, so
Wesk will smirk, showing off some of the fangs that he tries to hide.
Gideon briefly wonders if the fangs have poison too. He doesn't know, because he doesn't know much about kobold physiology.
Alright. After about another hour, Cezanne, Ziri, you are now tending to about maybe 5 or 6 wounded people altogether. Thankfully, it looks like the damage was not too rough. No dead, thankfully. Ren has apparently drugged you along to use the rest of your healing magic, Cezanne. Have you got any healing left?
I have a spell.
Okay. She is out of spell slots yourself, and you will use the last of your spell,
Yeah.
or will you offer to use the last of your healing spells?
100%, yeah.
Okay. Sazan, you do that. Ziri, give me a medicine check if you would like to be convinced into doctoring some of these civilians. Okay, great. It's almost like Ziri's a doctor.
Holy shit.
Sazan, Sazan spends the next while slowly, confidently channeling a healing pulse into people, mostly to get them into a state where they are not panicked. He's calming people down using his talents. But Ziri, you're doing a large amount of the actual wounds yourself. Yes, Sazan using his no cause for alarm skill to help organize people. Ziri, you are deftly, expertly. You know that thing you do when you're at work and you kind of get into a groove and you stop thinking about it and you're just kind of going. You're that. You are treating wounds without thinking about it. As usual, no service to it. Cold, clammy hands, expertly, professionally tending to wounds. But the rest of the party, or the rest of the town, does thank you. After about the next hour, it is getting to be, let's say, right at 10 o'clock as the rest of you reconvene. Ren has disappeared into the crowd. What are the rest of you doing as you now stand in a smoldering, but still standing, Otari market? Gax is wearing a tiny nurse's cap. Tiny plastic rubber gloves that do not fit him as he does not have thumbs. And a patient's robe instead of a doctor's coat that exposes his tiny little badass.
I'm briefly wondering where Gax finds his equipment sometimes.
More worryingly,
This
the gloves
journey
are
to
wet.
us all.
Wet with what?
Liquid.
Wet with what?
Some form of liquid. Give me a medicine check. Oh, it's sanitization liquid. He's sterile.
Sanitization liquid.
He's sterile.
More information than I really needed to know about the bat.
We're gonna have to meet with the mayor again at some point to debrief about what happened at the town, but for the time being, I don't like just leaving the gauntlet sitting there. What if this happens again?
Yeah, I'm not interested in sitting around waiting for the gauntlet to reactivate. But also, how we doing on spells?
I've used the last of my healing to help out the town.
Yeah.
All my first levels are gone.
Yeah, I don't know how much I want to walk back in there, you know, without any source of healing that isn't medicine or crowd control. I don't like getting my blood siphoned, you know, or my shadow stolen, or
Fair enough.
just anything that has happened to me lately, really. I've not had a good couple days.
Well,
Say,
As you
You go
recount
ahead.
your lengthy stay in Otari of a whopping maybe about a week now. It's been probably the most eventful week of your career as a soldier.
you go ahead and take him back to the Rowdy Rockfish if need be. I'd at least like to check out the graveyard and see why it's specifically targeted there.
I was
Sure,
gonna go
sounds
check in on
fine,
Raver. I was assuming that the mages would need some rest.
While the casters of your party are not tired, twisting the weave of magic does exhaust them mentally. Sazan, you are probably tapped on healing magic.
Yeah.
Ziri, you are tapped on first level spells,
Yep.
but not doing as bad as you could be, all things considered.
Honestly, I think it's good that we stick around the town at least for the night on the off chance that it does activate again, because I don't think we have a decent idea of how to stop it at the moment. If we run all the way out there and it starts blasting the town again.
Fair enough. In that case, I'm going to look into it in my own way. I won't leave the town, though. Promise. I'm not suicidal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's skip ahead for a little bit. Where are each of you going for the night, then? Sazan, are you resting?
I guess I'll go ahead and rest. That's probably going to be the most useful thing here.
Okay. Ziri, what would you like to be doing?
I'm gonna go rest so I can get my first level spells back.
Okay. Gideon, what are you doing for the night?
I thought I'd check in with Raver,
Okay.
see if he needed help. I knew he was sick, and he came out for that.
Wesk, what are you doing?
Wesk is actually going to go see if the druids know anything, and then from there, check out the graveyard.
Oh yeah, no, screw those guys.
Okay. Wes, that's going to
Their
be
pool water was nasty.
quite a walk for you as you begin to leave town by the main road. Brenda Vinkervell greets you with the... Let's see. Here we go. Brenda Vinkervell, your dwarvish house mother at this point. The Rowdy Rockfish is empty as you two step inside of it. It's quiet. It's dark. The door is poorly barricaded. You pull and push on the door and realize that a very lightweight stool is behind the door. You give it a small push and the maybe 5-pound chair flops over with a clatter, and a noise behind the bar draws your attention. Brenda is poking her head out from behind the bar, holding a small club.
Don't worry, it's just us.
Oh. Oh, thank goodness.
The imminent threat seems to have passed.
Oh. That's good. Where are your friends?
I think they're helping out with the aftermath at the moment.
Oh, good. They're not dead.
No.
Is anyone dead?
I do not believe so.
Okay.
And
Did you maybe see my son?
I can't say that I did. No.
Oh, okay. She's going to finally stand up from behind the bar, kind of trying to compose herself, and she begins to walk around the tavern, relighting a couple of the candles and lanterns that she has hurriedly covered and put out. The dark, foreboding inn now coming back to life as the the Rowdy Rockfish Inn that you know of. Where is my... There we go. Has a kind of quiet familiarity now filling the air. Not quite so ominous anymore. Brenda brings you a fresh pot of coffee free of charge, Ziri, but is going to fuss over you, Cezanne, asking you for news. Gideon, as you bring yourself to what you now know to be Raver's abode at the Farmers Guild, where he has shacked up for free now. You knock on his door once, twice, before you hear a clatter and a groan. I apologize, but I did say I did not want to be disturbed. I am sick, and then your town was attacked by undead. What could you want?
Point.
There is a unlocking noise, and then a second one, and a third one, and a fourth one, and a fifth one, and a sixth one. And then a seventh
I hear
one.
7. I knew
As
it.
the door swings open. Ah, Gideon. It's you. What would you like?
Yeah. I'm just gonna start shoving him back towards the bed.
I'm flattered, but now is not the time. I have a sickness.
Listen. That's the point.
I'm
gonna start
a
looking him
physician.
over,
I don't know if
trying to figure out what's wrong with him.
Okay.
Run a
Give me
medical
medicine
exam.
check.
Yeah, we'll do.
You're going to take a -4 as he is not sitting still.
Cool.
I don't need this. He's got zombie fever. He's not long for this world.
Thanks, I'm taking a hero point. Wait, can I do risky surgery?
As he has... Well, I guess he is a little wounded if you would like to, but he's going to resist.
No, I'm good. Even risky surgery couldn't save that roll.
Okay. As you begin to worry that you might have to amputate this strange rash you found on his... He jerks his arm out of your grasp. That's quite enough. Honestly. We may have traveled together for a little while, but I don't know you that well, Gideon. As I stated, I am flattered but not interested. Do you need anything else?
Mostly just checking on things.
I am fine, I assure you. I am quite independent.
You're in a barn.
I am not in a barn.
Just gonna look at the pasture out back. Back to Raver.
There are no animals, thus it is not a barn. He's actually in what might be a tool shed, but it has been cleaned out, repurposed, and is now looking like more like a tiny little apothecary's office, as his reagents and items are now spread out.
I'm gonna start looking at him.
He stares back at you with the blank black
Not him.
eyes of his face.
3 agents.
Oh. Okay. Give me
No,
a
I'm
crafting
just-
check.
Oh boy. Yep.
Yep. That's powders and dusts, and you can probably snort that one. As you begin to peruse, he is now physically attacking you. Get out! You take 1 point of bludgeoning damage, as he is, like, not full attacking you, but he is hurting you. Out! Stop!
Fine.
Out now!
I'll exit.
Okay. You hear a
Try
click.
to help a friend out.
And
I
a
see
click.
how it
And a
is.
click. 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 As he relocks the door behind you, disappearing from view. Wesk, you make your way up the hill. Slowly. Agonizingly slowly. It is a full 10-minute walk by yourself in the middle of the night as you approach this massive pond surrounded by stone rings. You know that some clerics live here in and around this pond, surrounded by about 24 standing stones, each of them towering over you, maybe about 6 or 7 times your height. Despite this, a group of people wearing a navy indigo-ish colored cloak, each of them wearing about the same cloak, glare as you approach. A halfling woman steps out to greet you, thankfully around your height, bearing a staff and several oddities and things that you do not recognize on her belt. She steps out to greet you. We had nothing to do with this.
Trust me, I understand.
Do you?
We,
Oh, you're not from town, are you? You're one of those outside...
No.
Wait. You were with that man who came here to insult us.
I don't speak for him. I tried to stop him, and I apologize for his actions.
Well... I suppose we have each of our own. I would be a hypocrite if I did not apologize for our actions. What do you want?
I was coming here because I quite honestly didn't know where else to turn. You guys strike me as a third party of sorts within this town, and I was wondering if you had any idea what might have caused what just happened.
We are as clueless as you are, to be honest. We've not yet had time to really recollect and study. We were going to attempt to do so maybe tomorrow.
What, if you don't mind me asking, nobody's really mentioned you guys within the town. What exactly do you do here?
Well, we're not exactly on good terms with the town right now.
I know I'm not one to be asking for answers, but if you're happy to explain, I'd love to hear it.
She sighs. I suppose it wouldn't hurt. About 30 years ago, one of our number dealt a significant blow to this town. They have not forgiven us for that since. I came here about 25 years ago hoping to repair that reputation, that mark against us. We used to serve alongside the priests of this town. Being so far out in the wilderness, we sometimes are more useful than your priests. Thoughts and prayers are well and good, however. They don't provide the same services that clean water and medicinal herbs might to a feverish child. However, that night one of our own struck down and killed maybe half a dozen locals. We never recovered his body as he fled over the cliffside there to the south. She points past the graveyard.
Huh.
He was a werewolf. We had no idea.
werewolf out here of all places.
Well, it is quite a convenient place. Peasants are more likely to blame superstition for disappearances than a predator amongst their midst. Doubly so because we were supposed to be keeping watch over them. And we failed. Not only that, we were at fault for bringing him into our flock. They've not forgiven us since.
There's no way you could have known. Sorry that the situation wound up the way that it was. I'm heading up to the graveyard now, actually. I don't know if they allow you up there, but I could, if nothing else, look over the cliff's edge to see if there's any remains.
I thank you, but I've already searched that. I'm actually about to go patrol my nightly duties. She points to the fog fin near the gauntlet. We try to at least protect the town still.
Thank you very much. One more question before you go.
One more thing.
That pool there, what exactly is it for?
We use it to scry and predict and consult with nature. It is perhaps more equivalent to a type of shrine that we worship at. It is said to be dew from the first gods.
Make sure that soldier gets a good talking to once I return.
Yes, I
I'm
have no
sorry
idea
again.
what drinking the sacred water would do to him. It would either incite the god's rage or hopefully protect him.
At this point, I can't say that it hasn't done both.
Maybe he needs both. With that, she's going to hitch up the belt on her waist a little bit. Tap the pouch. If you'll excuse me.
Thank you for your time, and I wish you well on your patrol.
I hope that it is another quiet night. She begins to make her way, not on the path, but just a straight line into the fog fin, disappearing into the gloom.
Westgold cinch up his own cloak and continue on his way to the graveyard.
Okay. It is at this point, Zazan and Ziri. Brenda is now crying inconsolably. I just miss my boy. No one in town will help me. The second that everything seemed to calm down and she relit the lights, brought you a pot of fresh coffee, Ziri. She has been chugging from a large bottle of alcohol that the label has now been scratched off of.
I will pat her hesitantly on the back and say, "They're there now."
Kex also pats her on the back, saying, "They're there. They're there. They're there now." Unsure what to do without your instruction.
I'm also unsure of what to do. I have no instruction.
Well, we could try looking around town for Lazda. That was going to be my second option after I got kicked out of Raver's place. But last time didn't go so well.
Cezanne, what are you doing as the dwarf woman sobs uncontrollably for her missing child?
Just trying to comfort the best I can.
You awkwardly pat her on the back. They're there. They're there.
Okay, I was waiting for it.
Gideon, you have now, what, returned to the Rowdy Rockfish?
I was gonna try and wander around town and see if I could find anything about Lazda, but honestly, I don't know where to begin with that.
Okay. Give me either a society or a diplomacy check.
Oh, that's gonna be society for sure. This is not my night.
Right.
Everything's in disarray right now, and the people that you were hoping to find that might know more, the gossip mongers, the rumor mills, the old women that love to gossip about everybody, they're not where they usually hang out. It's also late at night, and you realize you're not going to be a very productive. There's not going to be a very lively rumor mill right now.
Yeah, probably best to check in the morning. You know what? If I'm gonna roll like shit, now's the time to do it.
Wesk, you are at the graveyard where a platoon of soldiers now guard the entrance. They will not let you enter. There are now 20-some guards up here. About evenly spread, about maybe every 10 or so feet away. Just kind of in a semicircle around the entrance to the graveyard. They look
They still terrified?
terrified. But the captain of the guard, who you met long ago, is now in place. The same man that you met when you turned in the other kobold to the prison greets you. He is in full decorative military gear. He is wearing also half plate, much like Gideon used to wear. Wearing a crest on his front that depicts a crossed sword, depicted with a deer and a bow and a star. He's clearly older, but he looks like he is a man of many military battles. He is barking out orders, and as he turns to see you, he goes, "Ah! Well. If it isn't the kobold."
The only one, I would surmise at this point.
Well, there are two of you, no?
You kept that other one alive?
We don't... I do not know what to do with her. And nobody wants to come and pick up one kobold from the middle of... He gestures around vaguely at the fog fin. So while I am hesitant to just kill her, I'm starting to believe that maybe we should, and just be done with it. He seems pretty helpful to you, Wesk, and you're thankful for somebody that is now. It's oddly refreshing to not be viewed with sort of a skepticism as a kobold. But you realize that as a soldier nearby kind of shifts uncomfortably, he turns and just claps him on the back of the head. "You imbecile! Stand at attention. I did not tell you to move." The guard.
You ran a
silently.
tight ship.
No, I run a sinking ship. Every one of these fools, cowards. They have not seen a fight in their life. What I would do to have a squadron of kobolds with guns. At least they would have spine.
I mean, they saw a fight last night as it ran past them.
Well, hopefully the events of tonight can go forward to lead to...
Maybe I would just ship them out to the gauntlet. Huh? There's a nervous kind of chatter among the group. Fa. Shit these boys to their deaths, more like.
Can't say most would make it back. You, found anything aside from the, corpses in there?
Ah, my back. No. Though I cannot say that I go around ransacking graves like you people do. We have tried to put the bones back in pieces that you left them in. I cannot say I care too much.
Would, I be able to at least walk the grounds? I'm concerned as to why the...
No. We have strict orders from the families.
Fair enough.
If it were me, we would just turn the entire graveyard upside down for all I give a shit. I don't much particularly care for the dead. But the Inkelholtzes and the Menhams and the Schertels, they fuss and they fawn over their mausoleums and their tombs and their families, and I do not understand.
The, politics is way above my pay grade. At least when you, set on your own, you don't have to deal with it breathing down your back.
That's what I would do to be a free spirit, a young man again. To fight. To bleed.
Well, I hope for the town's sake that, that doesn't happen for a long time. But I wish you well. I, was simply coming by to, just see how things were going.
They are going well, Slinger. If I have need of your services, I would tell you. For
Let's
now,
Pause
we
at being
survive.
called. Wesk pauses for a moment at being called a slinger, reaching up to grab his chest.
need you to
Though-
give me a d20 roll to not squee.
He'd at least wait until he was out of earshot.
Okay, sure.
And it wouldn't be a squee, it would just be a soft chuckle to himself as he continues back on his way to town.
The old commander, captain of the guard, you're not entirely sure of his official title, but he seems to be the boss. He gives you a awkward salute. It's not a salute that you've seen in the slingers that you've been with, but you mimic it as best you can back out of a sign of respect and then head on your way. You make your way back to the Rowdy Rockfish?
Yep.
Okay. Wesk emerges back into Rowdy Rockfish as the three of you are now all patting Brenda. There, Brenda.
I
There.
could be a real asshole here. But I'm not. It would be out of character.
Gax is complaining that his arm hurts from patting her back too much, Siri. You've been patting her back for about the last 10 minutes, awkwardly consoling
I'd
her.
like to stop patting her back, please.
To do so?
Welcome back, Wes. Did
you're
you
there.
learn anything?
I learned
I
quite a
did not hear
bit.
anyone
Unfortunately, none of it was useful. I believe,
Hello?
Are you
I'll,
good?
what? Are you talking
Are you
to-
good? I'm like talking to you, Kamo, and Zilly, because like none of you are like.
No, we all cut out for a second there. I couldn't hear anyone. I saw people talking in Discord, and I just couldn't hear anything at all.
Oh, sick.
No, I could hear everything just fine.
Weird.
I was just confused as to why Como looked confused.
Weskull. Oh, God.
What was the last thing everyone heard?
I mean,
Ziri
he
saying,
was
I would
talking
like
about
to
the
stop
thing, yeah.
consoling her.
Oh. I asked Wesk if he had learned anything, and he said that a lot, but none of it useful.
Wesk is, will they console her? He's going to, walk behind the bar / into the kitchen and find not the cheapest, but a pretty cheap bottle of whiskey and leave a gold piece in its place before returning, assuming that's probably more than the bottle is worth. At least he tried in a bottle that's worth less than a gold and leave a gold in its place.
Not entirely sure exactly how much it's worth. You feel like that's a pretty good deal, though.
Alright. Wesk will return back to the table with everyone else as he heads to find glasses for everyone.
You do so pretty easily. Brenda keeps the Rowdy Rockfish pretty maintained and organized. Within a bit. Are you grabbing full-size glasses, or are you looking for shot glasses?
Rocks glasses.
Okay. You do find what you're looking for pretty easily.
While we're here, I'm just gonna grab some ice and pin to that bruise that I got from Raver earlier.
Okay, you do so. You salvage the 1 point of damage to your pride.
Yes.
Skull come back with 5 glasses as he sets them on the table and pours out an equal measure of whiskey for everyone.
Okay. You notice that Brenda's bottle is empty, that she is clutching. She has been drinking between sobs. It's not been pretty. Regardless,
School.
maybe about 20-25 minutes passes before Brenda is now asleep on the bar.
Should we get her to bed? Maybe get her some water.
I don't even know where her bed is. Best to just let her sleep it off.
That's why I suggested the bed. Is her bed easily visible from the bar? Is she just got like a room in the back or something?
You're not entirely sure. You spend about the next 2 or 3 minutes poking around the first floor and discover that there is a room you've not been into. It is locked.
Great.
Hold on. Weskull take another sip of his whiskey and hop down, walking over to the door as he pulls out a set of tools with what's the word? Not embossing. They look like they belong to Raver, basically.
Okay.
A gift from our friend, he says as he pulls out a
Tips
tension
of these
and a rake.
picks. The tips of these picks, these tools, look like they have been scorched in fire, and they turn from black down to their steel gray color.
Oh, so he gets gifts from Raver, and I get hit on the head for trying to help nurse him. I see how it is.
You have to understand how loners work. Musk is going to set to work on the lock.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a thievery check. Alright, that's 1
Right
success. Actually, I'll count that as 2. You make good headway, but it is slow work. This is a surprisingly complicated, ornate lock. You kind of felt really cocky and confident. You whipped them out, and now you're like, It's taking just a bit too long.
This is one complicated lock. What is she? Now I'm curious. That's just gonna keep going.
Okay, give me one more thievery check. And you are stonewalled. You're like, this should be working. There's pick 3, pick 4. Why is it not turning?
Is there a full set?
Did anyone think she might just have a key?
5 minutes passes. Tazan, Ziri, you watch Wesk and Gideon kind of disappear and are now attempting to lockpick a door. They're not straight down the hall, but you can clearly see they're like hunched over a doorknob.
This lock shouldn't be that complicated. It's an inn, for God's sake.
Can I glance to see if she might have like a keyring or something visible on her?
We're gonna have a talk about consent, but go for it.
I said visible.
She is not visibly wearing a key now.
Okay.
Can I poke around in her pockets to see if she has a key ring?
Sure.
All right, this entire party has a consent problem.
I have done nothing.
As you are gingerly kind of like, you're not touching her, you're just kind of like craning your head. Ziri steps into your field of view and sticks her hand in her apron. Ziri, you find a keyring. Several large iron keys on this keyring. In fact, one of them looks identical to the room key that you have.
Would like to walk over to Gideon and Wesk, who are inspecting the keyhole,
Okay.
and extend the key ring.
Wesk, you've almost got it this time. You can feel it. You're right on the cusp of it.
Want to try this?
One more
Just wanna
try.
see if West. Yeah.
No, I've
Give
got
me
it
one
this time.
more thievery check, bud. Yeah! It pops at the last second. I say last second, Bazir, you've been standing there holding the keys for about a good 20 seconds. You give him a jangle once or twice. The men
Wesk is
dismiss you before finally the door is swinging open.
I'm gonna shrug and pocket, or actually, I'm just gonna go set the key ring on the table next to
Gideon slowly holds his arm out for a fist bump with West.
Our lady.
It's a low to the ground fist bump. It's kind of hip level.
Wesk will, confused, press his fist against Gideon's.
The fist bump has acquired. Zira, you return the keys. Are you just like putting them back in her pocket or just like next to her head as she sleeps?
Next to her head.
Okay. You do so. Gex kind of incredulously looking between you and the keys as if to go, come on, man.
Great. We've picked this woman's locked door and we've robbed her of her keys.
I gave the keys back.
You put them by her side. We were
Fine,
doing
I'll
what-
put them in her pocket.
Okay. Ziri, give me a thievery check. As the door swings open, the secret is revealed, Wesk. Okay, you drop the keys in, and she kind of grunts and snores. Doesn't seem to move.
I'm curious.
The door
about this.
swings open, revealing the most basic inn room you could imagine. It looks like this is probably just a private room. More notably, it looks like this room has been immaculately maintained, even for the rowdy rockfish, as you realize this is likely not Brenda's room. This is probably her son's room that has disappeared.
Wesk is going to close the door again. If possible, he's going to try and make sure that it's locked before he closes, but I assume that it is you have to have the key to
Wait.
lock it.
This might be a chance to learn something about Lazda. Can I take a brief look around the room? See if there's anything that stands out?
Your funeral.
I'm not gonna, like, go investigate anything. Just see if there's anything that jumps out. Memorabilia.
Okay.
Photo.
Give me a perception check.
Secret?
Sure. As you kind of stride around the room, you're trying to be careful not to upheave anything or disturb them. You do, however, find like a pretty ornate looking shield. You find a large pistol, and you're not examining these too closely because, well, you're trying to leave things as they are, so you're not examining them or able to examine them too clearly. You get the feeling that Lazda was probably like an adventurous sort, kind of, I regret not taking my chance while I was young to go adventure. There's a lot of nice alcohol in his room, a lot of nice collector's mugs. It seemed like he liked being a barkeep, but he was secretly always trying to be an adventurer. A lot of his weaponry and shields are well maintained, much like his mother's habits.
Alright. Go ahead and lock the door.
Okay. You step outside and you quickly lock the door back easily from the other side and shut the door, Wesk. As the rowdy rockfish grows quiet as it nears about midnight.
Wesk is gonna go back and grab the rest of his glass of whiskey. Well, I'm gonna go make sure that my gun's well oiled for whatever comes our way tomorrow, he says as he raises the glass to you all and walks up the stairs.
Probably.
I mean,
should
she
press-
probably has a room in one of the other rooms upstairs. Can I just grab the keys and put her in a different room?
Sure.
Cool.
You're just picking in a room at random then?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. You drop her off in the first door on the right. It's a nice room. It's not as big as yours, but you also bought the entire upper floor. The large 4 beds in one penthouse of this nice, expensive inn. And you gently try to kind of make sure she's comfortable before closing the door and locking it. Everyone going to bed then?
Yup.
Okay.
I think
That'd
I
be the
will.
plan.
All right. We should we stop there or should we go just a little bit more?
We can stop there if you'd like.
I mean, I'm fine doing whatever, bud.
I think I'm fine stopping there for the night.
Okay.
Next time we can hit the gauntlet again. Hit the old gauntlet. I like the effects of its wonders. That's a much more notable effect at night.
Yes.
That's not new, right?
No.
It's been there.
That's been there.
Yeah. It's way more noticeable at night.
All right, then let's go ahead and wrap it up here. Any last things you want to do before your downtime? Gax is constantly trying to get you to swipe the keys, by the way, Ziri.
She is just coming back.
Okay.
We're
Sazan,
wrapping
what are
up.
you doing?
Gax wants you to steal the keys.
I'm gonna take a last glance out at the night sky for the night.
All right. You do feel.
I'm gonna take my armor off.
You do feel a much deeper connection to your deity, having survived this ordeal, and you're kind of now struck by a newfound sense of just how far away the stars are from where you are. And yet your gods still protected you. You wonder if you look as small to your deity as you do to these stars right now. You wonder if you have as many brothers in arms to your deity as there are stars in the sky. They are very distant and very cold, and you do not know all of their names. But it's mildly comforting, the just sheer number of stars. Doubly so as you gaze across the pond to Ashton, and they are reflected in the water.
Give a little smile as I do turn away.
Okay.
And like,
Shoot, you know what I should have done when I was at Ravers? I should have had him suck at the fear gem into the sword.
Good
Oh
luck
well.
with that now.
Yeah. I don't think he's letting me back in.
Ziri, meanwhile, you feel like these ordeals have sort of gave you a different perspective on some mysteries that have been eluding you. And you find yourself tricking Gax into teaching you more spells. You promise that you'll, or tell him that you'll swipe the keys, but you need just a little more power, and before long you've manipulated Gax into teaching you your second level spells. You feel a small sense of pride as you, while not devoted to a deity and not as trained and scholarly as a wizard, you've kind of had to wrest your power away from your patron that speaks to you through your book. You kind of feel a little pride getting won over on Gax as he begins to huff and puff and resign himself to tutoring you further tonight. Wesk, what are you doing?
Like he said, Wesk is gonna make sure that his gun is oiled and in pristine working condition while finishing sipping his whiskey before climbing back into bed.
Memories of your gun and how you two met, as this thing is both a tool and a symbol of pride for you. You don't feel quite right describing it as just a gun. Fill your head. Wesk, how did you acquire this gun?
It was the last few things left of the slingers that he helped rode with back on the outskirts of Ceylondia before they were cut down by the brushers.
As you polish this gun, a thought occurs to you that it looks much better than it did when you first found it that day. Covered in the dirt and blood of its previous owner. You take a moment now to polish and clean away its new owner's dirt and blood. Wondering if maybe this is just doomed to repeat. Shrugging away the intrusive thought, however, you manage to clean, and within a few moments you feel better about yourself, returning to a methodical, trance-like, unthinking activity that you've done so often. Gideon, that armor's off, and it feels great.
It sure does.
What are you doing after you take your armor off?
Probably something similar to Wes. I'm gonna look over my sword. It has carved through a whole bunch of things in the last 24 hours.
Think back to the satisfying feel of enforcing your order upon this world through such acts of violence, and think back to the first time you had your ass beat in a fight. Who was the first person that soundly defeated you and bent you to their will?
That'd be the guard captain.
Was he an old man?
Yeah. Old war vet.
Is he dead now?
I don't know. I've been away for a while at this point. Gideon's not that old, and he didn't get into the army until his teens, so it's very feasible he's still alive. Although it's not somebody he has regularly had contact with since, you know, he was enlisted after he got his ass beat from the street.
You wonder what
But-
your old gang members are doing.
Probably no good. Try not to dwell on the subject too much.
You wonder if maybe you'll beat some other kid's ass one day.
Would not surprise me. Maybe they'll make something more of themselves.
Alright, with that, you've managed to finish repairing your gear. Alright. Any last thoughts before we head out for the night?
Nope.
I think we're good.
Okay. Let's go ahead and wrap it up then.
All right.